On today's World News Roundup, the main section of China Laos railway bridge completed. Protests rage on in Hong Kong. Protest against the President of Egypt. Attacks on Saudi's oil reservoirs. Forest fires in Indonesia. India bans plastic. Rugby World Cup 2019. Some cricket news about the T20. India cuts tax rates. And more news coming up. Stay tuned. Hope you're having a good day. My name is NEWZMATIC and welcome to the first World News Roundup of NEWZMATIC. Today on General News, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's birthday was held on the 17th September. He was born in 1950 and as of 17th September 2019, he became 69 years old. The main section of China-Laos Railway was completed over Mekong River. Protests in Hong Kong are still raging on and police had to fire tear gas and rubber bullets at a small group of protesters who had built barricades in the small town of Tuen Mun. A Chinese flag was seen being burned during the protest and several protesters were arrested. According to a government statement, several protesters threw petrol bombs, but there were no reports of any injuries or damage. Over in Egypt, thousands of protesters have come out onto the streets demanding the leaving of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The protesters chanted slogans such as "The people demand the fall of regime" and "Leave Sisi." Unauthorized protests are not allowed in Egypt. So the police fired tear gas at the protesters and at least 5 people were arrested, including a journalist, according to the Egyptian Commission for Rights and Freedom. Last Saturday, there were attacks on 2 major oil facilities in Saudi. The attacks, which took place before dawn on Saturday, took out 5% of the global oil supply. There has been a cut on output of 5.7 million barrels a day, and Yemen's Houthi rebels have claimed responsibility for the attacks. The group has warned Saudi Arabia that their targets will keep expanding. Meanwhile, US Secretary of State has accused Iran of being behind the attacks without providing any evidence. France is sending investigators to Iran. President Donald Trump has approved of sending US troops to bolster Saudi Arabia's defenses. Due to forest fires in Indonesia, thousands of schools have been closed across the country and in neighboring Malaysia as well. Due to these forest fires, air quality in Singapore has dropped drastically just days before the country's Formula 1 race. The Indonesian fires are an annual problem, but this year's have been the worst since 2015. About 40 flights at 3 airports have been cancelled due to this. Over in India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has issued a ban on plastic bags, cups and straws coming into effect from October 2nd. The ban will be nationwide and will begin on the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. This ban will reduce 5 to 10% of India's annual plastic consumption of 14 million tons. In sports news, the 2019 Rugby World Cup is being held in Japan. It started on the 20th September and will go on till the 2nd of November. This is the first time the Rugby World Cup is being held in Asia. In cricket news, India defeated South Africa on Wednesday in the T20 Cup by 2 runs and 7 wickets. In business news, India has lowered its corporate tax rates to 22% from 30% to boost its economy. This was announced on Friday. British Airways pilots have called off the strike, which was to be held on the 27th of September. Due to this, 200,000 people had to change their travel plans and 1,700 flights had to be cancelled by British Airways. In tech news, iOS 13 was launched on 19th of September and is said to be packing a lot of cool new features. YouTube CEO has apologized from creators across the world for tightening its verification policies. They have been lightened. I hope today's NEWZMATIC episode enlightened you on what was going on around the world, and if you do enjoy my content, please press here to subscribe to the channel and go check out my other videos. Leave a like, that would be appreciated, and I'll see you guys next week. I'm NEWZMATIC signing off from NEWZMATIC.